meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to amend the agenda to include the paving bids, opening those tonight. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Review and approve the minutes from July 10th, 2023, regular select board meeting.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Any open public comment? Brianna, did you have anything you wanted to say? Or are you just listening?
No, I'm just looking at that all.
Okay, thanks. Okay. All right. Oh, that's all right.
I was doing stuff in the house and forgot about, this morning I said, we're going to tonight's a meeting, right? But by the time I got home and I'm going to get my out and I forgot all about the meeting. We wondered what was going on. It's like,
Better late than never. All right, no public comment? All right, discussion on action items. Review of the bills. Everybody signed the bills?
Yeah.
Public Nuisance Ordinance Amendment. Everybody got a copy of that? Is there a motion to adopt the amendments to the Public Nuisance Ordinance as read aloud at the June 24th, 2023 meeting, which I will also read now, the highlighted ones that were changed. So under descriptions, running at large means an animal that is off the premises of its owner and is not under their control. Under conditions for keeping certain animals, regarding harboring or raising livestock is prohibited, included but not limited to horse, cattle, sheep, swine, hogs, or fur-bearing animals within the written approval of all owners owning property, and the change was within 50 yards of the premises on which the livestock is being kept. No livestock, swine, or hogs shall be kept within 100 feet of any residence, dwelling, or street. Odors from livestock, swine, or hogs, either it be from manure or other related substances, shall not be perceptible, and that is the change there, at the property boundaries. Number 3, no fowl or chicken shall be kept on property in such a manner as to cause a public nuisance. The change is made where odors from chickens, chicken manure, or other chicken-related substances shall not be perceptible at the property boundary. Harboring more than 12 fowl or chickens is prohibited without the written approval of all owners owning property within 50 yards of the premises on which the chickens and/or fowl are kept. Number 4, it is prohibited for any person to own, possess, or harbor a mature rooster. And mature was the word that was added. Number 5 was totally changed. No fowl, chickens, or livestock, including but not limited to horses, cattle, sheep, swine, hogs, or fur-bearing animals, shall be permitted to run at large. So is there a motion to adopt the amendments to the Public Nuisance Ordinance as just read now? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Riverside Cemetery Management and Planning.
I haven't had any more requests to be on the committee, so I'll probably be gone by then, but maybe mid-August set up a meeting, make one more last-ditch attempt to get some members on, and
There was one person of interest, right?
there was.
And they didn't want to.
No, they still want to.
Oh,
We're just,
okay.
we set up a meeting and they'll
Okay,
participate.
We did have one interment since our last meeting, and we sold a plot since our last meeting. So.
okay. All right. Town manager transition. Do you want me?
Well, it's happening. August 14th, I start there, so I'm taking a week of personal leave the 4, but I'll be around, you know, so I can come in a couple days just to make sure agenda's set up for the meeting. Judy and I have already started meeting and talking about, you know, the turnover, kind of the kind of more, you know, in-depth tasks, so that she's got some kind of foundation she can build upon. So that's kind of the transition update. We also have a contract that's been written out. You can stop me if I go too far, and then we can always enter into executive session, but right now it's drawn out to be a 3-year contract. The one request that Judy had was, instead of the 6 months of 5 days paid vacation, just start her off at 10 days paid vacation. So in the policy, if you have 6 months to a year, you only get 5 days. So she would just start off with 10 days, and that would last for the next 6 years, I guess. Until you renegotiate it if you want. But anyway, if you want to go into executive session to discuss that.
Do you want to go into executive session at the end, just to finalize it, so you can see?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do that. All right, Selectboard Reorganization. Motion to open the floor to nominations for Select Board Chair and Vice Chair, closing the floor for nominations, and seeking a motion to appoint a Chair and Vice Chair. So the contract that I will enter into will not be in place or effective till August 14th. So if you want, I can step down now as Chair, or we can wait and still publicize to see if we get other people to fill the vacancy, and then elect Chair, Vice Chair at the next meeting, which kind of makes sense, because I'll be done.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I propose that. Because I know there has been interest out there. A couple of people have reached out to me, but I don't think they've done anything about it. So I think it'd be nice to kind of put it out there again, just to see if some people, you know, just so everybody has like a handful to choose from, or at least, you know, a couple people that want to come over. So, is that okay?
Sounds good. Works for me.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to go into the Board of Water Commissioners?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One opposed? Okay. Zion Growers Equivalent User Rate Inquiry.
Yeah, I have to use some institutional knowledge for this. I'm not sure how Stan used to do his equivalent user rates, and I went through his files and did find what appeared to be a latest rendition of a schedule of rates. He's pretty clear about how they did the schools, you know, per student. Each student uses X amount of gallons, and that's how he established that. I'm not sure how the Preservation Trust rate was established, which right now I believe stands at 12 EUs. You know, Zion Growers' point here is that they don't think they're using that much water. So 1 EU is 525 for water and 500 and some odd dollars for sewer, multiplied by 12, which is a lot of use. So I think what they're wanting is just to kind of open up this conversation of, if they are going to try to get this reduced, then what would the board want to see? And from what I noticed just from the schedule of rates there, and maybe I didn't see it, but there didn't seem to be clear guidelines on the Marble Museum. Because you've got factories in there, and I guess they'd be operating as a factory, so you could kind of determine that. But what is the use because of the Marble Museum?
So what are they being charged at now? How many?
12, I believe.
Okay. 12 ERUs?
Yes.
12 what use?
12 EUs.
So it's like 12 houses, basically.
12 bathrooms, yeah.
Right. And how many people are there now? Anybody?
You've got June and Brent in the back. Mike Knowles is there. Vermont Marble Museum. That's all I know of.
And, you know, when these rates were set, we're using today, the museum was certainly a lot busier than they are now.
Are they actually in there doing anything?
No, and Zion?
Yeah.
No, they, I don't know how much they want me to share, but they kind of hit a roadblock on financing. Okay, let me back up a little bit. It's 10 EUs, not 12.
Okay.
So they're being charged 10 for, let me make sure this is right. They're being charged 10 for drinking and 10 for sewer. One sewer EU is 530, and then one water EU is 545. I did the math
This
earlier,
whole
so you do it backwards.
calculation.
So if you do it back, yeah, so what I provided to the board inside of your packets is Stan's old schedule rates.
Would anybody object to cutting it in half and looking at it again next summer? See if the museum's gonna pick back up.
I mean, I think the only thing that's gonna increase usage will if that museum ever picks up, because I don't think they're gonna be doing anything over there very soon.
Yeah, I think what's kind of important to remember too is it'll impact this year's rate significantly. They went in here at 10 EU, so the sewer and water budgets were designed around this schedule. So if Zion went from, I'm just doing kind of math in my head, which I'm not good at, but if Zion went from 10 to 5, you know, you're going from, you've pretty much got like a $6,000 deficit in
Right.
your,
Because, I mean, you definitely have at least, I would say you have at least 5 usages there, with the 3 downstairs and then the museum, if there's 1 or 2 people working there.
yeah.
Right? That's 5 right there.
Well, but you have to look at how he does each one different here. So like a church, okay, so if we were doing EUs for a church, which I think we do.
Yeah, it's 5 gallons per person per day, based on 25% of seating capacity.
Did they pay 10 last year?
And they're not looking, they told me they're not looking for any kind of retroactive payment there. They'll pay that. And I know there's some issue of them not paying it yet, but the Preservation Trust said a check was in the mail and it didn't arrive, so they're, usually when people tells me a check is in the mail coming, 99% of the time it's coming. It's coming. Sometimes it doesn't, you know, sometimes it bounces, but I don't think that's gonna be the case here. So,
These calculations are just so
Well, I
bizarre.
know that the school went up with Stan's new calculations, because even though we have showers in the building that we do not use, he included those in how he figured the new total. And that was why the schools went up substantially.
so here it says that schools use 20 to 20 gallons per day, per person per day. I'm trying to think if a student would use that much water every day.
Can I just ask one other question? Has this building over here ever been re-upped from the number that there was to the number that you put it down to, now that they're fully functioning? And it's my understanding they have what would be like a commercial kitchen in there, that they're still just paying 1, is that correct?
I haven't adjusted anybody's
So they're
EU
still
since I've
just
been
paying
here.
1 over there?
I don't know.
I'm looking.
Well, that's
here.
what it was, this board put it down to when they bought the building, because it was 8
Oh, wow.
and went down to 1. because they were remodeling and they weren't doing anything. Now that's a fully functioning business over there, correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, it probably needs to be re-examined, which is, you know, a good opportunity to kind of look at this and say, well, what's going on? So it says here, in a factory, 5 gallons per person per shift per day. You know, really, even when they thought they'd be in there now, they were saying maximum Zion would have 30. So 30 factory workers, and they're probably not gonna have 30 working every shift.
Are they having more than one shift?
Well, we haven't gotten there. I don't think they've
Right.
gotten there yet, but, so if a single family dwelling's 450 gallons per day.
Well, let's not rewrite history here. Let's do what we're doing tonight, and in the future, we can maybe look at this again.
So what are you saying? To lower it, or just?
They would like to lower it. I mean, the board, I mean, it's definitely the decision of the board to lower it or not. My thought, Zion kind of expected, well, what do we need to do? And my thought was, well, they're probably going to want an idea of how many people are going to be in the building, at least for the next couple of years, so that you could design a rate around that. But it's probably going to end up pretty low, because here it says 1 ERU is equal to 450 gallons per day.
Of course, the museum's only open for 6 months.
Schools aren't open either year-round.
I think the museum and Zion could use a break here for a year, and I don't think 5 is an outrageous number.
Anybody have thoughts or opinions?
No, and in fact, the church, we had a regular meeting and what have you, and it came up that, you know, there's not a shower in the building there, you know, we have a lot of, you know, kids in there during the week, but there isn't any showers in there. And how that might look.
I tend to agree with Tom as far as lowering their rate right now, but I think the whole thing needs to
I think that's,
Doesn't hurt to have
be
a
a
review.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Well, we did, oh, here's my cell phone. I'm sorry. So I can pull up an email here that I was back and forth with Travis, who's one of the owners. So to start with, they'll probably have 6 to 7. I apologize for not saying this earlier. I thought my cell phone was in the office. All right, so they think that, you know, once they get going, they'll have 6 to 7 employees per day, you know, during the first year or what have you. And then the tenants now total 7 people. And most of them are storage and are not there daily. The museum has been light on visitors, 5 to 10 per day. It's open in July and will be closed in October. I sent Travis this so he could see how the rate schedule is set up. And he must have done some math that showed that really, if you added all that up as a factory, it would be under 1 ERU, which is equal to 450 gallons per day. But, and then he said, we're open to do a yearly review going into the future.
I think that's a good idea. I make a motion, we reduce them to 5 until, you know, we'll check them again next summer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I think we need to, though, before we set rates every year, take a look at this.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
We might want to consider even meters for businesses, you know, we don't have very many businesses. That would be the only accurate way to.
I'd done that in the past, because the assumption is water coming in is going to be the same quantity as what's coming out, but some businesses don't produce as much water as they're coming in, you know, due to evaporation or, you know, think of a bottled water company. Most of it is leaving more is coming in. So they've set up meters so that they could prove, you know, they'd set a meter on the discharge portion so that they could show what was leaving was nowhere near what was coming in. So, you know, it's been done in the past for businesses.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, any other business under Board of Water Commissioners? Being none, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Water Commissioners and into the Board of Sewer Commissioners?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other business under sewer?
The only update is that the power was lost to Stiles Meadow as a result of the windstorm that we had after the flooding, but the crews responded with the mobile generator and worked with GMP to bring the system back online as it should be. That's the only update. We should be having a wastewater treatment facility scoping study update soon. You know, we were kicking the ball down the road just to try to get a handle on how much the sludge removal would cost us, but that has probably hit a big pause because of the federally declared disaster.
That's the third time we've lost power at Stiles Meadows in the last year or even less than a year, so. I'd like to talk to Green Mountain Power, have somebody talk to Green Mountain Power and find out why we're taking outages over there when we didn't used to. And maybe it's time to think about a generator in place over there if this is going to continue.
All right.
Yeah, that was all related to the mess behind the church.
Right.
And
Off-road,
Yeah.
off-road lines, yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of equipment back there fixing those lines.
Yeah, that was-
Excavators
That
and
was an expensive
Oh, yeah.
fix.
all kinds of stuff.
And it took a long time.
It did.
yeah, but they really worked. They were there first. They were there during the night and decided it was too dangerous to continue and worked from about 9 o'clock till 7 down there. But they had all kinds of equipment down in there.
Okay, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Sewer Commissioners and back to the regular Select Board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Department reports, Town Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to start off here with some good news. It isn't on the agenda because it's not an action item. However, the Beaver Pond Path response is back regarding forgiveness, and the state is allowing the town to cancel the project without any penalty due to complexities caused by landowners. I provided a letter from the state saying that in your packets. So what that means is the town will be forgiven, probably isn't the right word, but will not have to pay back reimbursement for, you know, upwards of $95,000. We do have a plan set on file now and a NEPA permit that's good for a number, you know, for 3 years. So there were tangible items gained from the effort.
That's a big
Yes.
deal.
South Street Sidewalk Project, trees that need to be removed have been marked and will go on this, or plan to go on this summer's right-of-way tree removal schedule, along with one on Patch Street. Tri-Town Trails scoping study, Stephanie Burke with the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. She is going to drop her daughter off at college, and she'll be back at late August. And then, so the first meeting will be held with the town managers, just to kind of start the firm selection phase of the scoping study. Go ahead. Yeah, okay, so full swing audit season. Sullivan and Powers has conducted their informal gathering session. Important update from this is that the town will need to perform a single audit, because anytime we fund a project with federal funds in excess of $750,000, a single audit has to be performed. In this case, it was the upgrades to the Willow Street pump station collection system that did it. Grants and aid, Kyle and I are speaking to landowners on, we did that actually Friday. This is the stormwater work that we're doing. It will encompass the stabilization of stormwater outfalls. And so we just have to work with a couple of landowners so that we can get to them. And then, you know, honestly, a lot of the last 2 weeks have been centered around emergency management efforts. It's hard to believe that we haven't had a board meeting since then, because it's been a long 2 weeks. But, you know, we had significant flooding along Route 3, West Street, Gorham Bridge, and the only access in and outside of town was East Street, Route 3 heading north. And, you know, myself, Kyle, and Paul came in for a little while Monday night, along with the fire department. We went around, asked people if they wanted to evacuate. Nobody took us up on the offer. I know the fire department was helping people out after Monday with flooded basements, and I've talked to people down Willow Street about dumpsters, and I think the town's volunteer resources are going to provide some funds to help them with debris cleanup. So there wasn't actually, there was no documented damage to any of the municipal infrastructure, which is amazing because, you know, it's all underwater, deep underwater. And there were about 5 or 6 homes that reached out to FEMA with needing support. And that's not, it doesn't look like we were impacted that much, but since this is a federally declared disaster, there have been federal agents here on a daily basis. I've been having to attend state operation meetings regularly, and it just, you know, it's taken up a lot of time. So, and that can be surprising because we didn't suffer that much damage, but they still have to do their reporting. You know, they have to justify being here. So, so that's kind of, that's been the last 2 weeks, just working with federal and state agents. If no one has any questions, that concludes the written portion of my manager's report.
Michael, I just have one. So what is the status as far as the wastewater channels, like on West Street? Like when you and I...
I've been working with the team. They're called Watershed Consultants, and they were the firm that we selected to draw up the stormwater plan, and they're getting pretty close to where they've got a plan that can be presented to the public. They've scoped all those areas out, and I think the flooding kind of pushed them back a little bit.
Right. Because
this is interesting. The state is doing drone surveys of flooded areas, so they asked me, they've been a really great team, Watershed Consultant have. They reached out to me and said, hey Michael, we know that the state's flying drones over flooded areas. Will you do us a favor, reach out to the state and get that data so that we can include it in the report?
Oh, good.
You know, so they should have a really well documented stormwater master plan, and then it'll be up to the town. You know, that'll all be presented at a meeting like this, and then it'll be up to the town to say, well, that's a priority project for us. You know, so if we're talking about that stormwater ditch that runs, you know, along the west side of town, we can say, you know, that is actually starting to impact homes, so we think it's higher on the list than something somewhere else. So that's kind of the status of it. And the reason we do stuff like that is because we can get funds for it.
Right.
You know, once that study is there, we can do the work.
Thank you. Sheriff's report. Anybody have any comments or questions?
I just have one, and Jude, you know, like the protocol on, like, Sunday night down at my house with those bikers.
Oh, yeah?
The dirt bikes. They, all day long, there was 5 of them going up and down the road at least 50 miles an hour, and that's on the light side. And really revving their engines. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they were all sitting in front of the duplex down there with all the trucks and everything. And at one point, I had gone into Rutland, I came back, and they were all right in front of the house in the road, and a car was coming, and he had to wait for me to go so he could go around them. Not one of them moved. They all just looked at him and just kept talking. So, I mean, and I could tell there were neighbors that were just, so I don't know, so what's the protocol on something like that? I asked Judy about it, should I call the sheriff or the sheriff's office, see if somebody's on duty, or?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest. And I do reach out to the sheriff because I'd say one of the biggest complaints I get are four-wheelers, especially down Meadow and Beaver Pond Road, West Street. So I reach out to the sheriff probably once every 4 months, just saying, hey, we've got reports of this happening. They prefer that a resident contact them, just for the fact that residents have a little bit more information than I would have, because I don't see it happening. So they're gonna ask you stuff like, does it seem to be happening on Friday afternoon or Friday evening? You know, what do the four-wheelers look like? Do you know them? Kind of thing. So that's what Sheriff Fox usually tells me. Have the resident reach out to us. And
I mean, I know I'm on the select board, but I could still reach out to them, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And then what I do is I always encourage those people to write a letter to the board. So when we go to renew a sheriff's contract every year, you know, you've got something to base a decision around, whether the public's happy with it or not. And I'll add one more thing. It's not really on the sheriff's report, but I did send out the letters for the violations of junk vehicles to the homes along in that portion of West Street there. And between August 10th and 15th is when they expire. So I'll make sure that Judy's aware of that, and then the sheriff can go out there and start fining them every day. $800, $800.
Okay, good. I see the house, what street is this?
Macy's.
No, the one that needed mowing, right by, Proctor Gas, there right across the street. What's that little short street called? Forgot.
Oh,
The one right on the corner?
Cross Street.
Cross Street, yeah.
Got mowed?
Yes, that got mowed, but
Good.
I noticed the one, across from Bruce Carrington still isn't mowed.
Yeah, and I haven't sent them a letter, which I should, but
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't. No, not them, I haven't, but I need to.
What about that one next to Dale Christie's there?
Somebody, some girl went, and she, yeah, she got it, it's
Mowed it?
mowed me.
Yeah, mowed.
Use the
Well, and
term
that one was
lightly.
kind of funny, well, not funny, but they mowed it and it uncovered a junk vehicle, so we sent them a junk vehicle notice.
That's why they had the grass on.
That's all grass.
Okay, DPW Foreman report. Any questions, comments on this?
No, looks good. I know they've been busy and probably behind a little bit now, but we'll get back on water shutoffs, et cetera, here in the future.
Definitely, and I've been keeping track of it, at least administratively, and then we'll get back on it. I've given Kyle kind of two specific tasks, and one of those is fixing the eroded roadway along Park Street. If you're going up the hill over to the right, every time they put something there, it doesn't catch because it rains, and so what they're going to do is they're going to put down some good topsoil, good contractor mix, and then maybe put a couple check dams there to slow down the energy of the water, and then hopefully that gives it enough time to seed and take.
Where it is?
That's going up to your house up on Park Street too, right
How
there.
many times has it been fixed?
Well, they're gonna do it good, they're gonna do a good job of it this time.
Yeah, we've had so much rain, it just keeps washing things away.
Yeah, it's a steep grade, it's a steep grade, it's a lot
Those things are gonna happen.
of sheet flow.
All right, treasurer's report, any questions? Comments? All right. Now we'll open bids for paving.
How many did you get?
3.
Johnny Carson, the Great Carnival.
All right, the first one is from Pike Industries. And it's got it broken down for cold plain. Yes, should I read the quantity too? Or?
The quantities are same for each one.
Okay, so cold plain is $59,402.50. The bituminous concrete pavement is $332,304 for a total bid of $391,707.50.
That
Huh?
bituminous, it's just asphalt, so you can say asphalt. If
I like
if you're
that.
having trouble with it,
Bituminous.
it's just asphalt.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Always gotta one-up me.
Well, you heard how I said it.
No, it's good, I went, okay. All right, this is from Wilk Paving. Cold plain is $44,195.46. Asphalt is $286,691.32. Traffic control is $10,000. Just want to make sure that.
They charge $1 for it.
The total bid is $340,886.78. And the last one is from Fuller Sand and Gravel. Cold plain, $35,641.50. Asphalt, $328,348. And traffic control, $2,000. For a total bid of $365,989.50. It's surprising because these seem like low and then it's like, oh, total.
I think that came in under budget too, which is,
Wilk.
yeah, which is good.
I make a motion, we take Wilk, the low bidder.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. It is awarded to Wilk Paving. Any other questions or business?
I have just one comment. Since we're going to be starting another path conversation, I certainly hope that as we go forward, that we certainly learn from the Beaver Pond path ordeal. And the tri-town one has been a little, the information hasn't been so forthcoming, even though the scoping study hasn't begun, because it's a little perplexing how you're getting from Pittsford, Proctor to West Rutland without going through Rutland Town, so that seems a little confusing, so I'll be interested to see how that works in the scoping study. But I also hope that that will be a continuous agenda item, so, because I'm doubtful that being forgiven again will ever happen in our lifetime for a situation like this, that we're fortunate it happened this time, but there certainly are going to be landowners you're going to have to deal with to make this study happen as well.
Definitely. Okay. So I don't have a,
I just say, keep it simple.
all right, is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss the contract for the town manager appointment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Go into executive session.